Spider-Man, huh? Amazing. Ugh. You want to know what's amazing about this game? Because it's certainly not Spider-Man. Although his sprite's so bad, it is kind of amazing. Now, what's really amazing is that our German friend Uli decided to send this thing to us, even though he had literally a dozen other options, and with favorable outcomes. Fire, that's just one option. Shovels, the Baltic Sea. Hey, I've been to Hamburg. There are like, seriously, 18 rivers in that city. But no, he sent it to us, from Germany. What's amazing about that is, I mean, if we wanted to be dicks about it, like, I'd have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure that's a declaration of war. Anyway, here it is. This is the Amazing Spider-Man. Pretty amazing. Although, even if the game itself is anything but, there are some amazing things about it. Like, as crazy as it sounds, this thing was actually developed by Rare, makers of some of the greatest platformers of the 1990s. Started the decade with The Amazing Spider-Man. That's amazing. And guess what? In Europe, this game was published by Nintendo. That's not even amazing. That's unbelievable. But, at least over here in the States, we got a slightly clearer picture of the horrors inside this thing. That's because over here, the game was published by LJN, one of the most notorious companies in the history of gaming. Remember the Uncanny X-Men? Or how about Back to the Future for the NES? Yeah, you remember that one. Some of the worst games ever. So at least in the States, it said LJN on the box. At least over here, we had a warning. So what's so bad about it? Well, let's start with the premise. Spider-Man's hanging out one day, when all of a sudden he gets a phone call. Oh, it's a villain. He's just calling Spider-Man. And they insult each other with some horribly written dialogue. But then it's, oh, just meet me in the alley. Seriously, they set up a fucking meeting over the phone. And then Spider-Man shows up, beats this dude down, he goes home. Boom! Another freaking phone call. Whole game's just people calling Spider-Man on the phone. I can't tell if this is a plot or a high school girl's afternoon schedule. And you know, what's really gonna drive Spider-Man fans crazy is how god-awful these characters look. Spider-Man's sprite is, it's just atrocious. He looks like an Olympic skier, but with bigger goggles and more homelessness. Actually, the pictures of the villains during the phone calls, those might be even worse. I mean, seriously, I don't even know what that is. The graphics actually aren't bad, it's just the art, and the music's pretty rough too, so the presentation just isn't very good at all. And honestly, I haven't really said anything about the gameplay because, I mean, there's not much to say. You can punch, you can kick, you have this web meter, which lets you swing and attack enemies from a distance. Otherwise, that's about it. You can jump higher, but only if you do it while walking, and it just feels really clunky the way it's done, so it's just not a very good beat-em-up, to say the least. And there are 6 bosses, but they're some of the worst boss battles ever. And some of the levels actually repeat themselves. Like, there are 2 levels on the rooftop, and 2 levels where you climb up the side of a building, even though there are only 8 levels. So they're really like there are 6 different levels. None of them are very well designed or fun. Why don't you call someone about that, Spider-Man? Make that phone call. I mean, the best praise you could possibly give this game is that it's okay, maybe. And that's only if you're a huge Spider-Man fan who's really lenient about video games. Otherwise, this is a game best forgotten. Or, again, Fire would be a decent way to go. At least that would be exciting. It's the Amazing Spider-Man for the original Game Boy. LJN sucks!